You guys, it's already the end of September. And what? Can you believe it? It's so crazy. We're diving into this session's episode. This is another one I'm just pumped up on. I don't know why this month, some of these topics I just feel are so exciting and critically important to moving forward in life. And so we're going to be talking about body talk. Yes, our bodies are talking to us all the time. They have wisdom. They want to inform us of things. And we're going to dive into this episode. If you haven't subscribed to the Soul Frequency Show, go over there, subscribe to it. You can listen to all the interview episodes as well that we don't have here on YouTube. But you're going to want to hear my amazing guests. And this is actually something to listen to when you have a journal in front of you as well, so you can do the work. Let's do the intro and dive into this. This is Shauna Lee, and welcome to this week's The Soul Frequency Sessions. Real talk about real life and how to raise your energy frequency. All right. Just got done talking to our YouTube friends with a little intro over there, and now we are diving into the final episode of Sessions for September. You guys, it's almost 2020. Can you believe it? It's like out of a sci-fi movie, but we kind of are living in a sci-fi reality, aren't we? And it feels that way sometimes. But it's also beautiful and fun. And today we're talking about body talk because it's an important subject. We're really going to dive into the wisdom of the body. You know, our bodies, I think for a long time, there's been a long conversation about healing our bodies from a very physical standpoint, or how do we lose weight, right? How do I shape shift my body into looking differently? Or, oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight, or, oh my gosh, my body's not healthy. And what do I do about it? And I want to go to a whole different frequency and a couple of different layers on the physical body and its wisdom, because those things become, I know they're important, but they could become less important too as we continue to raise our frequency and step through different portals into different energy. And they also kind of start to handle themselves at the higher frequencies, right? Like our body starts to heal easier as we start to remove the blocks to that, because our body is a self-healing mechanism. And if it's not self-healing, there's just some work to do. That's just your body saying, hey, there's some work to do here. There's some attention to be paid to me here. Like, that's all I'm looking for, right? And so the wisdom of your body is telling you where to look, where do we need some more love and attention. And oftentimes emotional things we go through in our life are being stored in our body. And so much of the physical things that we struggle with are on the emotional level, manifesting in the physical body. And when we think about some of the traumas or tragedies we've been through in our life, those are going to show up in our physical body. That energy of emotion is going to get lodged somewhere in our physical body. And so one of the ways, like, I want to really start forming a context for one of the ways that we can take care of ourselves is not really the concept of exercise, which is happening at a certain frequency, but it's the concept of moving our body in ways that feels good and feels aligned for us, right? So whether it's dancing or yoga, or doesn't really matter, or taking a walk, it's understanding that we are moving energy out of our body with movement. And when we do that movement from a frequency and energy place of joy, then we're actually accomplishing a lot of different things, not just the idea of burning calories or getting physically fit, although it's important to build muscle and, to have a healthy physical body, but from a standpoint of moving energy. Right? We can move fear out through movement. We can move, all kinds of emotions, anger and hatred and sadness and grief out of our body with physical movement. And so if we're not moving our body, like, that's something we need to pay attention to. And likely if we're not moving our body, we either feel like we don't have time, or we don't know how to move it in a way that feels fun. Like it just feels heavy and pressure and, I don't want to go exercise. And so it's reinventing for ourselves movement, right? And the excitement of movement and how we can do that in our daily lives to be something that feels beneficial and helpful. And so this is the new paradigm for movement. And we're going to see more and more of this in our culture as we start to raise our vibration as a whole, as a collective, and start to understand all of the different ways to work through things, right? On this physical plane, work through the emotions, work through some of the stuff that we experience, some of the stress that we experience in life, and go to another level. Now, if we want to listen to the communication of our bodies, we need to pay attention, right? If our knee is hurting, we need to pay attention. That's communication. If our body is holding extra weight and it's not releasing that weight easily, or it feels like more and more weight's coming on, it's telling us something. And largely that communication is toxicity. We're just toxic. Right? So we can do things like infrared sauna. We can do things like colonics. We can do things like, dancing and moving our body in fun ways to start to move our lymphatic system and start to signal to our body it's safe to release weight, right? It's safe to release these toxins out of our body. That's really, really helpful. Our bodies are our teachers. Right? Our body is the record keeper, holding all of the information of this lifetime and even lifetimes beyond that. You've heard of people probably having certain phobias or fears that are tied to past lives. So we experience some of the things that we've had in past lives in our current day life that's a holdover from those lifetimes. All of these things are in our body. And if we understand and start to honor our body as our teacher and start to honor our body as an important communication system within ourselves, then we can start to look at things not from this place of, why is this happening to me? But instead, why is this happening to me? Right? Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? In my own journey, I, a couple years ago, started to get a neck pain, and I, of course, ignored it. And being that I love to be physical with my body, I just kept, doing my thing, jumping on my trampoline and dancing and doing all this stuff. And eventually it got to the point where it was like painful, right? And I couldn't do those things. It got to the point where I couldn't push through and do those things. And it was such an important lesson for my life, because I've always been able to move my body and expel energy in different ways. And I couldn't for a while. And I had to stop and reevaluate, like, what's going on in my life? Okay, what's going on the physical level? What's going on in the emotional level? We went through a very large life transformation and spiritual awakening several years back. And there was a lot of emotion in that, a lot. And so I'm smart enough to know that, like, that emotion probably was lodged in my body and likely got lodged in my neck, right? And now it's time to go on the journey of what my body is trying to tell me. And here's the most fascinating part about this. I can't even tell you how many people I met on the journey of healing my neck, and how many important soulful connections were made on the journey of healing my neck. I was always getting the guidance from the beginning that it wasn't like a once and done thing. Like, I wasn't going to go to one doctor and they were going to just fix my neck. Like, that this was a journey that I was supposed to go on. I also discovered that I had had a preponderance of lifetimes before this where I died from some sort of neck injury, whether it was breaking my neck or being hung from a tree. I mean, all kinds of different things that I'd experienced in other lifetimes. So it was through these different portals, right, of information that my neck started to heal. I started to treat my neck with something called prolotherapy, which is an incredible treatment. At one point, I realized that it was an instability issue in my neck that was causing some of the problem. And so prolotherapy are injections into the soft tissue that hold your spine in place to strengthen those soft tissues. Again, like people have been in car accidents or things like that. It was an incredible alternative treatment that really helped my neck. And so that was addressing it from a very physical level. I was also, addressing it from an emotional level and the lodged emotions. And there were lodged emotions from throughout my lifetime, not just when I went through my spiritual awakening. So it took me deeper into understanding how we heal our body and understanding how to look at all of these different facets, right? Not just the physical, but the mental and the emotional and the spiritual, right? And the past lives and all of that kind of stuff, so that we can understand, like, what is my body needing me to learn? My neck took me on a journey to deepen my knowledge spiritually and emotionally, and to understand healing, right? And it's still healing and strengthening. It is so much better than it ever was, right? And I'm so grateful for the journey. I wasn't always on day one, not at all. I was mad at first. And then when I started to unfold all of the things that I was meant to learn and what my body was trying to teach me and show me, I became so eternally grateful for the journey. And every time there is a new discovery on one plane of existence, and every time it gets better, right, and it heals, I am taken to another level of understanding what true healing is. And if you are struggling with something, a pain, whether it's a physical pain or emotional pain, I encourage you to go on the journey, right? To listen to your body and to listen to your intuition about where you need to go, right? To start to understand this and to start to be on the path, on your unique path. It is extraordinary where it will take you. And I'm so happy you're here, that listening to this episode is part of your path, and that you listen to your intuition to come here and hear this, and that this information hopefully serves you in such a beautiful way to just allow that voice of the ego to get quiet and allow yourself to get outside the box, right? And really embrace what your body is saying to you, what wisdom your body has for you. Write down anything that comes up in your journal based on what I shared today, and anywhere that you want to give love to your body and say, thank you, body, for talking to me. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I'm going to start listening now, and I'm going to take the journey ahead. I will see you back here next week for more sessions. All right, that was the sessions episode for the end of September. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's almost October. And I hope you enjoyed this month's sessions. I hope you listened to all of them. There was some really good information in there. And I'm so excited. I got more for you in October. So write this stuff down in your journal. Enjoy the path, enjoy the journey, and I will look forward to seeing you back here next week for the Soul Frequency Sessions. Have an amazing week ahead.